Good evening. I met up with some friends last weekend I've not seen for a while, and I told them I'd started doing stand-up comedy, and they were interested and they were asking me lots of questions, which was really nice. And then one of them said to me, "Are you any good?" And I said, "Well, I haven't been doing it long, it's a work in progress. I reckon I'm about 50% the way there." And he said, "What do you mean by that?" And I said, "Well, I'm confident, but I'm not funny." Now, I really want to share this with you at this time so everyone's expectations are set at a realistic level. Now, I turned 50 last year, and while reaching this milestone doesn't particularly bother me, it did give me cause to reflect on my life, think about my past, my future, and even my own mortality. And the issue of my own mortality was brought sharply into focus last Saturday morning when I was shopping at Tesco's. And my bag for life ripped, and now I wonder how long I've got left. Now, I don't remember much about my infants and junior school, but what I do remember about it is running home and watching children's TV. And for those of you of my age, remember it was on either BBC or ITV, and it was on from 4 till 6. And I thought about it, and the best way to convey my feelings about my childhood TV, I wrote a very short poem, and it's called Every Cloud. I'll just share it with you. I wrote to Blue Peter to ask them for a badge. I wrote a lovely letter, but they never did write back. I wrote to Cracker Jack for a Cracker Jack pencil and pen, but when there was no reply, I was disappointed once again. I wrote to Basil Brush, but he ignored me flat, so I wrote to my MP to bring fox hunting back. I wrote to Noel Edmonds to swap an unwanted toy. I waited and I waited, but still I got no joy. I only had one chance left to get heard on TV, but now I'm feeling quite relieved Jim didn't fix it for me. I got to thinking about my secondary school, and I went to an all-boys Catholic school that was run by Jesuit priests. That's a bag of laughs. In religious education, the teacher said to us, it's a sin to touch your genitals unless you're going to the toilet or having a wash. Imagine telling 14-year-old boys that. 14-year-old boys whose main preoccupation is masturbation. Now, this gave us a real dilemma because we didn't want to go to hell, but the urge to masturbate was overwhelming. The priests told us that when faced with temptation of the flesh, we had to pray to save our souls. It turned out we didn't have to. Some of the priests were prepared to risk their souls to help us out. Result. I left school, and I think those years of your late teens and your early 20s are when you feel most optimistic about life. Now, in my 20s, I went travelling to India, and this is in the early 90s. Oh, sorry, when you're at that age, and you're listening to songs, they're more than just songs, they're like promises of what your future love life might hold. And like I said, I went travelling in my 20s, and a friend who'd been to India already said to me, if you go to India, take some condoms with you. Because at that time, he said, the condoms you can buy there, they're that thick, they've got treads. So, maybe I was feeling optimistic that Saturday morning when I went into Superdrug in Chorley and bought a 48-pack of condoms, because when I finished travelling 4 years later I counted them up. I'd used 4 as shower caps and the rest have accumulated more air miles than Alan Wicker. So now when I look back over those dating years, I think I was right. The songs that I listened to were promises of the future love life. And given that, I wish I'd spent less time listening to the Buzzcock song, Ever Fallen in Love with Someone You Shouldn't Have Fallen in Love With, and more time listening to Dexy's Midnight Runnels, Come On Eileen. I got back from travelling in my 30s, I had a relationship, and like a lot of people, you lose touch with your friends at that time. And then when you get to 40s, people start becoming single again. And this happened to me and some of my friends who lived in London. So we had a reunion in London. And when I went down to see them, they made me aware of a concept in dating that was new to me. And I'll be honest with you, I felt like I was missing out. Because while all my friends in London had friends with benefits, I was living in Chorley and all I had was friends on benefits. So I thought, I'll try and rectify this with a bit of internet dating. Now the problem with internet dating is you get so little information in the profile that you start discarding people for the slightest reasons. And I saw this advert and I thought, this is promising. It said, Sally, 36, ready for anything, anytime, anywhere. Now unfortunately Sally had spelled the where in anywhere W-E-R-E, and I thought, she's not ready for a spelling test. I am with someone now, and I didn't meet her through the internet. I met her by the more traditional and, in my opinion, respectable method of stalking. And, we've been together for about 7 years, and we're quite lucky. We don't argue much. But I've noticed that the arguments we do have seem to have fallen into two camps. The first is it's just be a bit of a flare-up of temper. It's something I've done or said, and there'll be a bit of shout, and I can handle that. I run away, and it's soon forgotten. But the second sort is far more difficult to deal with. Be sat there watching telly, glass of wine, think you're in for a nice, romantic, chilled evening, and then you'll hear these 4 chilling words. We need to talk. My blood runs cold at that stage, because this is an issue that's been festering. She's chosen a moment. Her arguments are lined up like a well-trained army, while mine is like a drunk in the pub that's just been punched. Now, this is true and strange rather than funny, but I'll share it with you. My girlfriend has some strange ways of beating me in arguments. It doesn't matter what we're arguing about, she always seems to manage to bring it round to breastfeeding babies. Now, I think this is unfair. If I was to go on Mastermind, that would not be my specialist subject. But she doesn't just launch into it, it's just talk about research and evidence, now findings can be manipulated, and in the end I just told me, I'll say, I give up, I'll be in the shed. And she really does that. And another thing, when you turn 50 that you need to change is your sexual fantasies. Now, a sexual fantasy should be something that's possible, but unlikely. So in light of this, since I've turned 50, I've adjusted my sexual fantasy to 3 in a bed of me and 2 hot water bottles. And speaking of sex, what about David Cameron and the alleged incident with the pig? What was he thinking? Well, we'll probably never know what he was thinking, but I am prepared to hazard a guess. I'll be Prime Minister one day. Now, I've heard it alleged that he's not the only high-ranking Tory with a sordid secret that he'd rather keep hidden. I've also heard it alleged that George Osborne also took part in an initiation ceremony at the same university. Now, what George Osborne had to do was dress up as a pig and lie on a table, pretend to be dead. I am prepared to hazard a guess what he was thinking. I'll do whatever it takes. Now, just before I go, just a word of warning to all you motorists. On the way in tonight, stopped at a shop to buy a bottle of water. And when I came out, one of those stealth traffic wardens had turned up and he started writing me a ticket. And I went out and went, come on mate, I've only been here a few minutes, you meant to give me some grace. And he said, no, you're on double yellow lines, you're getting a ticket. Anyway, the debate got pretty heated, and I won't go into detail, but I'll tell you 2 things. I didn't get a ticket, and he knows fuck all about breastfeeding babies. Thank you.